So, in an article by Pulse.com written by David DeWitt regarding this 10-year-old situation, alright, here goes. The first and most important thing to recognize right now is that a heinous violent crime was committed on a 10-year-old Ohio child. And thankfully, justice has now been found the alleged perpetrator. A Colombian man was indicted last weekend in the case that made national and international headlines about a 10-year-old who had to travel to Indiana for an abortion after Ohio's abortion ban went into effect, allowing the U.S. Supreme Court following the U.S. Supreme Court of the Roe v. Wade. Republican Ohio Governor Mike DeWine and his spokesman responded to the story by ignoring questions about whether children should be forced to have their rapist babies. Then DeWine allies contacted members of the press, asking how sure they were that the case of the pregnant 10-year-old even happened. The Washington Post, the conservative Daily Center, and other media outposts published stories that were claiming they were unverified. The Wall Street Journal editorial page suggests that the story was a fanciful tale. The National Review's Michael Brendan Dougherty referred to the case as a fictive abortion and a fictive rape. Republican Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost went on Fox News Monday to raise further doubts. He said he works closely with law enforcement authorities and he'd gotten not a whisper about the case. What I'm saying to you is there is not a damn scintilla of evidence. He doubled down to the Columbus Dispatch next on Tuesday. Hamilton County Republican Chair Alex Train-Tufolo on Twitter called the case a garbage lie that a simple Google search confirms is debunked. State Representative Brian Stewart tweeted the Washington Post story saying he wouldn't trust an abolitionist to tell me whether the sky is blue. There's a lot of people denying this. Ohio U.S. Rep. Jordan tweeted, "Another lie. Anyone surprised? None of them had the patience to verify for themselves with certainty that the truth of the matter before going public on the massive self-serving scale." Jordan deleted his tweet. Columbus police said in court that there were referred the case by Franklin County Children's Services on July 22nd, or June 22nd. On Monday, July 11th, Fox News host Jesse Water and Ohio AJ Dave Yost were on international television questioning whether the case was real. The propaganda erasing this 10-year-old existence was so swift, it spread out over right-wing social media like a blanket. Those advocating the truth of her story, privately already confirmed for some of us, and crushing to hear about, were subject to wide-eyed mockery and ridicule. It's incredibly disturbing that the default position of so many sick and twisted people, including Ohio most prominent Republican elected officials, is to very vocally and very publicly question whether the rape and impregnation of a 10-year-old child ever happened. This case was never implausible. In 2022, the most recent year for which statistics are available, 52 girls aged 14 and younger had abortions in Ohio. According to a State Department of Health, a review of just the City of Columbus police log since March 15th uncovered 59 reports of sexual assaults of girls 15 and younger that, based on the information available, could have resulted in pregnancy. This including at least one case of a 10-year-old. The wheels and integrity of local journalism spun and uncovered the truth, with the Columbus Dispatch breaking the news of confirmation of the case. But after the confirmation broke Wednesday, DeWinn's spokesman, Dan Tierney, again refused to comment on whether the child rape victims should be forced to carry their pregnancy to term. Jeez. 10-year-olds who become pregnant are by definition rape victims, obviously. But Ohio's abortion law signed by DeWinn doesn't make exception for rape and incest. Yost's office didn't respond Wednesday when asked whether he believes child rape victims should be forced to carry pregnancies, nor whether it was important to believe stories about the sexual violence. Instead, he put on a statement applauding the arrest. Yost offered no correction, no apology, and offered no contrition for going on national television to try to erase the lived experience of a child rape victim. Apologize for what? Questioned a newspaper story. Ohio's top law enforcement officer, Dave Yost, said about a case in his own county. DeWinn, Yost, and other Ohio Republicans, hurt a traumatized child once by forcing her to flee the state in order to receive health care. Then they hurt her again by peddling propaganda, erasing her. Now they're hurting her a third time by refusing to acknowledge and apologize for their actions. These powerful Ohio Republicans politicians have thoroughly and completely shed themselves on any sense of shame or conscience. They're disgusting and disgraceful, callous, careless, and cruel. This is a matter of basic human decency, good faith, and sensitivity on the most fundamental level of society. If they are willing to erase the traumatic story of a 10-year-old rape victim whose pain and suffering will they try to erase and ignore next? They behave on a base level so repugnant and reformed from the general good-heartedness of most Ohioans, it's almost unfathomable. I honestly don't know how to sleep at night, or I don't know how they sleep at night, or look at themselves in the mirror in the morning. Alright, so that's the end of that article. And so this situation kind of had me thinking for a while. I didn't know how to word it. YouTube probably won't help with that. I don't know if this is going to get taken down from using the R word. I don't know why I'm saying R word after I've been saying it. Anyways, the one thing I wanted to know when coming across this story that everyone was talking about is how often in some way does this happen. So the stat for 2020 on this article was helpful. As disturbing as it is, in an article from New York Times talking about this, it mentioned that in 2017, data concluded that there was over 4,000 pregnant children under the age of 15. And on statistics of crime, victimsofcrime.org, it's reported that in some data from the Bureau of Justice statistics report shows 1.6%, 16 out of every 1,000 children between the ages of 12 and 17 were victims of rape and sexual assault. In the abuse statistics, it reminds us we can only guess how many children get abused this way as they go unreported. We can only assume millions of young kids and essentially get swept under the rug by these very people in power. So I wonder also, while I do see eugenic principles to withhold reproductive health and what is being forced upon the kid to have the child in Ohio, or would be, I also begin to believe in rape culture even more than I used to. So I'm teetering on if this is mostly just eugenicist and rape culture, or rape culture is a part of the eugenic America we live in. So, yeah. Alright. That's all I had to say on this topic for now. See ya.